Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. From the feedback on the channel and from a number of people, I realized that people appreciate the content about graduate traineeship. So I decided to do a series breaking down the NNPC 2025 Graduate Trainee Employment and Recruitment process. And today I have a guest that will be sharing their experience with me. So before my guest comes up, I'm going to just give an overview. We are going to break down this series into 3 major videos. However, if at some point it becomes quite lengthier than we expect, maybe 4 videos. So the video should be published on the channel subsequently in weeks. For instance, if you get a video this week, Friday, the next video should be up next week, Friday, something like that. Or maybe if you get a video this month, the next video will be up next month, depending on the response and how you're feeling with the video. First, we're going to speak about the application process, which is what we're going to look at in today's video. In the second video, we're going to look at the computer-based test preparations, the process, and everything in between. And finally, we're going to look at the interview process, preparations, and everything in between. And eventually, you get to find out whether our guests made it into the recruitment, and hopefully they did. Maybe subsequently, we may have them come back to share about the graduate training experience with us, or we may have another guest reach out to share their graduate training experience with us. So I'm going to hand over to my guests to introduce themselves.
All right, hi, good afternoon. My name is Mr. Timothy, and I'm glad to be here. And it's good to be able to share my experience at the NNPC Limited Graduate Trainee Recruitment Exercise.
All right, thank you very much for sitting with me today. My first question: how did you hear about the recruitment exercise?
Okay, so the way I heard about the recruitment exercise was actually through a family member. I had spent a lot of time on platforms where you have opportunities. So eventually I did see the opportunity also show up there, but primarily the way I was given the heads up that these opportunities are available was through one of my family members.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to move to the next question, which is, what was the initial application process like? What was the user interface like? What kind of questions were you asked? What tips would you give maybe future applicants in preparation to fill, and maybe how long do you think it takes to fill the form?
Okay, so the form, or should I say, starting to apply or starting the application process, you had to create an account as if you were trying to create an email. So provide an email address, password, basic stuff. And you do that on NNPC Limited's website. So they have like their own personal portal where you do that. So apart from that, the other part is you have to fill in your bio data. So this is something many of us should be familiar with. When you maybe create a social media account, you have to also put in those details. So apart from that, I had to fill in my education information. Where did I go to school? From what year to what year? So you also need to try and have some specifics, the dates, maybe when you graduated. I know it's not always clear sometimes, but you should try to get that correctly because they will verify that in the ways they can. So the other part that's quite important is the professional experience you've had. And they gave us the privilege of just filling in the experience you've had. That's the 3 most recent experiences you've had, rather than just pouring all the things that you know. So they have some very specific information they just want you to fill, and then they use those information to also make some selection. Another part of the application process was having to fill in your professional certification, some form of proof that you are skilled or you are part of, if you are a member of some professional community. So having to do all those things didn't take me a whole lot of time because I'd been applying for some time before that application came. So I found it easy to do. But I think navigating the site initially was a little bit unclear of which section I was going to apply to. That there's the graduate trainee, there's entry level persons, there's experience hire. So I didn't see a clear separation of those. That's like the portal trying to let me know that this is separate. This so just everybody feels almost the same thing. So that's what the process was like, and I think it was quite easy to also do some copy and paste if you have already done previous applications to fill in some of those fields.
All right, thank you for sharing. I think there was also the part where you could fill in certifications, and they also asked for NYSC certificates. I think I remember
Oh
something
yes,
around
yes,
that. Yes.
NYC
So just
certification.
as a tip, I think having a folder on your Google Drive or cloud storage with all your credentials, certificates makes it easy and easier when you have to apply for things. You spoke about graduate trainee experience hire. I mean, we don't really know if it's entry level in this situation, but I'm sure we'll find out subsequently. Then
Mhm.
when you try to create the portal, you have to verify in your mail, and then after you've created your portal and submitted your application, you're going to receive an email that looks like this: hello applicant, dear blah blah blah, whatever your name is. Thank you for your interest in building a career with NNPC Limited. Your online application has been successfully submitted. Your unique application ID is GT forward slash blah blah forward slash blah 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 blah. Kindly note that this notification does not mean that you have been selected or shortlisted for a test or an interview or offered an employment with NNPC Limited. All applications will be reviewed and only shortlisted candidates will be contacted. Please do not submit another application, as multiple applications from the same applicants will nullify all submissions. So my next question: how long did it take for you to get a feedback on this application?
Oh wow. Actually remember applying, I believe sometime in August. So I was expecting to at least have some positive feedback or hopes of the process is going on, let's say in 1 month's time. But to my amazement, I actually did not get, apart from the mail that you just read about, that's confirming my application has been submitted. I didn't get any clear feedback until about the end of 2024. That was about 3, 4
November.
months. Yeah, yes, November to be precise. Thank you. November to be precise. And in fact, I actually had forgotten that I applied to NNPC Limited. And I thank God for, like, if it was left to me, if I was the one that had to follow up or anything, I consider I had put the application aside. So it took about 3 months for them to reach out to me, and it brought some hope and optimism with it.
All right, so we don't necessarily know the cause for the delay, but we know a number of people applied for this. I believe about 1 million applications were submitted. Well, we'll still have to wait for the organization to confirm through a public release the exact number of applications that they got, right? But and I think another thing I'm just going to say is I think sometimes people shoot themselves in the foot thinking about setting rules as just technical or sector specific. So as much as you have sector specific rules in the energy sector, for instance, it requires a business professional, it requires an accounting personnel, it requires a lawyer, it requires a sustainability person to function in different areas. So don't disqualify yourself before the recruiter gets to even meet you. So if you're considering submitting an application that that's not necessarily in line with your field of study, this is also an encouragement to go ahead and make that submission. Check your emails, your spam, and I'm sure you get a positive feedback on it too. So that's the end of the first video. Very short. I'm excited we did that and we covered a couple of things. So please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you soon in the second video where we're going to talk about the computer-based test. Bye.
Bye.